Oh, yeah.
You know when you just don't want to do anything, don't have the motivation or the energy to do, is this working, to do anything, and then you have to read a chapter of Sam by Jack Wayland.
Somehow Jack finds a way to energize me, if not just through like stress hormones coursing through my body afterward. Kind of puts me on edge for the rest of the day, but in a good way, like a little too much coffee.
Okay, yeah, I get that. And it's like you know you shouldn't do it on an empty stomach, but you keep doing it anyway, just to feel something. This looks like it's going to be a slightly shorter chapter, though, so...
We're in luck.
So where did we leave them? They were boring coupling off into the sunset, and they were engaged, right? And Sam has self-knowledge. I realised last time editing the video, I just used Jack and Sam interchangeably, so I'll refer to, like, the character of Sam as Jack all the time. Anyway, they're engaged. So we got... This is chapter 13. We've only got 27:58... like 30 pages left in the book. And,
wow.
You know, some of the pages is a Jack Wayland page, so it looks like that. So, you know, what's going to be the big conclusion? How do you top, you know, the main character's already got self-knowledge. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, after that, I mean, maybe he goes to a monastery to teach.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yep.
Starts his own little farming monastery commune. Yeah. I still think he's going to go full fundy at some point in this series. That's where my money is staked. Also, I want to apologize if fundy is an offensive term.
It's like Fundy Fridays, right?
Fundy, yeah.
And I would say you're someone who's been full fundy at various points.
I am reappropriating the term.
Yeah. And as far as England's concerned, I've gone full fundy.
Yes, you have.
We drove home the next day and announced our engagement. Our parents were delighted. When Steve found out, he invited us to dinner. He was alone. He said his wife was visiting her parents. I had him tell how he began with no money and how things grew. Then I explained my dream of having my own store that sold small computers.
Tiny little ones that can fit in your pocket. You're crazy, Sam. Not a visionary. Give up on your dream.
That's too small for a computer. Just do it. Take the plunge. During the dessert, he made his play. Laura's told me she'll probably quit when you... Oh, Steve's the boss of Laura. Okay.
And everybody, apparently. He's the alpha of the Rat Pack.
And how convenient that Steve's wife is away.
Notice it didn't say she is away. He said she's away visiting her parents. I just thought that was an interesting way of phrase. Jack has such a way, don't he?
During the dessert, he made his play. Laura's told me she'll probably quit when you two get married. Why don't you let her work for a while? It'll give you time to start your own business. You'd be on your way to your goals, and I'd keep the best salesperson I've ever seen.
The phrase, let her, carrying just way too much weight in this paragraph.
Well, I don't know. I've got a boy who needs a mother.
But not a father. Certainly not.
Just the fact that this was considered like healthy and normal for like a new couple getting together, for the woman to just instantly like abandon her career goals and assume the role of the mother. You know?
You know. I forget this is like a intersection of the cultural happening. This is like Rexburg, Idaho. This is like the furthest colony of Mormon fundamentalism? Question mark? Not true. South Utah is pretty nuts.
Oh, yeah.
So. All right.
This is Steve. I'm giving you the chance of a lifetime. You're not going to just sit on your goals, are you? Come on, Sam. Be an eagle. A few days later, we decided to follow Steve's advice. I would work at the computer center until the middle of January. Then Laura and I would get married. I'd have my grand opening in February. So...
just opening the store is what?
You know, life as a white man, you just breeze through. You know, you finish your dinky little computer job at the end of January. By mid-February, you're doing a full store launch.
Yeah, easy.
It's just like within the 2 weeks, you'll find a location.
Reagan's America, baby. Unregulated Utah. They're just pouring gas into the stratosphere.
Laura would continue to work until the store began paying enough for us to get by, and so I reluctantly became an eagle. Okay, his idea of becoming an eagle and not just putting his own dreams first is allowing his future wife to keep doing her job, rather than looking after his son, which he chose to have before he even knew her, until his store generates enough money, which I'm like, that just seems like the sensible thing to do regardless, right? You generally, like, new businesses don't earn money right off the bat. Why wouldn't Lara keep working? But this is his compromise. It's like a thing that ultimately just benefits him.
Is this the first time we're hearing about his computer store?
No, remember last book he mentioned it? He mentioned it after he got self-knowledge, I think.
And okay.
Yeah. I think that's how it happened with Steve Jobs, though, too. Like, you get self-knowledge, you become an iconoclast.
Yep. You eat apples solely for 30 days.
Yep. Not an eating disorder. We were married in January in the Salt Lake Temple. Many of the single adults were in the ceiling room with us. It doesn't matter at all, but, like, what is the purpose of that sentence? Many of the single adults are in the ceiling room with us.
It just, whole gangs here.
So is it because they're so popular in the ward, or?
It shows, like, it's like bragging rights. It's like, you bozos couldn't do it. We're doing it. We're escaping out of here. This hellhole we've all been trapped in. But
all these single adults are presumably endowed, so... We got some return missionaries,
Veterans from the war on Satan.
Hate this next line. From 7 to 8:30 that night, we had a reception at the church.
7 to 8:30?
Yep. So just a tight hour and a half celebration.
Woohoo, done. Okay.
Mormons really don't get to, like, enjoy, there is a coming together of families, but Mormon weddings can just feel so, like, rushed and, like, it is nice when you go to a quote-unquote real wedding. They call themselves, like, the only real wedding, but then, anyway, there's no real weddings. They're all bullshit. But, like...
but some of them are so beautiful and nice wonderful.
Like, when couples have known each other for ages and the families are already partly integrated and everyone can share stories. And when the couple actually wants to be there and not just rushing off to their hotel or whatever.
And they do it at, like, a beautiful location.
Like, Mormon couples are mostly just trying to, like, get through their weddings, I feel like.
Yeah, and just do the kind of, like...
It's like...
most of the Mormon weddings I've been is, like, pretty just, like, cookie cutter. Like, you do this part, then you do this part,
it's just like a Sunday service in a way. It'd be so much... It's so much more fun to, like, dance into the night with all your closest friends.
Yeah.
But there was a second reception from 9 to 10 that was more fun. It's not what you think, Tanner. But what do you think it's going to be?
What do you mean? What do I think it's going to be? The reception. They had to have time in the middle
9 to 10.
Because obviously Sam is going to have a whole time planned out so that he can, you guys know, you're adults.
So you think the reception from 9 to 10 is them consummating their marriage?
I think so.
On their wedding night?
I think that's what's happening. Well, no, in the time in between, there's the, like, 10 to 2, and then there's the one, and that.
Well, no, because they've had their reception from 7 to 8:30 at night.
And then there's the next one. Let's hear about it. Tell
me.
Then
from 9 to 10. Laura and I wore our clown costumes for a reception just for the single adults.
Oh, God! God!
We went through the courtship of Wilbur... You didn't have to do this on your wedding day. You could have done it any other night.
What?
We went through the courtship of Wilbur the clown and Fran the frazzled Fraulein. I knelt in front of her in the classic proposal stance. I want your hand. Was ist das? She asked. I want your hand, I pleaded, grabbing at the plastic hand sticking out of her sleeve and pulling it out. She screamed and I ran away. She said, this is like, Jack's like, if I could do my wedding night all over again, boy, would I do some things differently.
The clowning wouldn't have been so metaphorical.
She started to recite a poem in German. I picked up a large push broom and crept up on her. Maybe this is what's erotic to them. Maybe this is what fires them up, because in my mind, I'm like, this feels like a clear loss, because from 9 to 10, there's probably some peak energy hours after a long day. The later you leave it, the more waning your reserves are going to be. But maybe for them, they've done a cost-benefit analysis, and the clowning around is only going to help them. Yep. It's charging their batteries, so to speak.
Yeah, well, when you see your partner, your beloved, performing and being seen in the community as a person of great esteem, then nothing revs your engine like that.
Yeah.
Speaking from science.
The second the broom touched her feet, she fell forward. Sister Hilton, the announcer for our shows, asked me why I'd done that. I wanted to sweep her off her feet, I yelled. Okay, so that happened just for that joke. But also a person wouldn't be like, why did you do that in the middle of a clown routine when she tripped over? Like, we know. Don't get me started.
Okay, there was nothing better going on this evening. Like, no one has anything to do.
It's their wedding night.
They're like, yeah, let's go watch them.
Imagine if you were invited to this, you'd be like, I don't want to be a part of their weird pre-sex clown rituals that they're doing. I don't want to be roped into that.
Count me in.
Well, Tanner, the part we enjoyed the best was the sharing of the cake. I love how Jack just always tells rather than shows. He's like, and then we did this, and he told me this, and the part it's like, and, don't write a scene of why it was so emotional. You know why it was such a good moment. I opened my mouth, and she shoved an enormous piece into it. Without a word, I did the same to her. What was left over, I smeared on her nose.
A classic gag if there ever was one.
Well, she's a clown, so she took it to the next level. She pointed at something inside the cake. When I bent over to look, she pushed my head into it. These two are fucking obsessed.
Hijinks.
After wiping
They just kept pieing each other in the face over and over.
Also, can you imagine? I mean, whether or not the parents paid for the wedding, but can you imagine sending your parents away being like, okay, mum and dad, you guys have all got to go home now because we're doing our wedding reception for our clown friends. Not even clown friends. Oh, I think it is their clown friends because the young single adults, they're all clowning around together, right?
Uh-huh.
Either way, can you imagine being like, we're doing like a special clown performance for our friends now, you have to go home.
I hope it's like a bachelor party kind of vibe. It's like incredibly vulgar. Like he's doing like... and then she takes it in and then pops out like a car full of clown children. I don't know.
We wish.
There's so many ways you can go with it.
But it does feel like Jack's messing with us a bit because the next sentence is, after wiping off the mess, we got serious. We told them how we felt about our experiences with the single adults. Again, I'm like, do this a different night. Why is it happening?
And like, who cares?
It was getting pretty mushy, so Sister Hilton had us open our presents. The first one was a whoopee pillow, one that makes strange noises when someone sits on it. Every gift was a gag. You wouldn't peg.
Yay.
So it's like, maybe Sam just has an easier time expressing the fun side of him through clowning because it is so... It's hard for him in regular life.
He has to go full clown. He doesn't know how to have just an integrated balance. You know, if you're into clowning, you do you. I'm not trying to talk down on clowns, you know?
No, nothing bad about clowns.
Personally, not my
art form of choice, yeah.
Not for everybody.
Last of all, we sang Till We Meet Again, had a prayer, and left. When I started the car, a siren wailed crazily until I could open the hood, find the gimmick, and pull it loose. Oh, that's not, that's just would be so fucking annoying to start your car and have something. Then came a nervous drive up the canyon to my uncle's cabin in the woods where we were to spend our first night together. Oh my god, we're getting a wedding night scene now! We're getting a wedding night scene! What do you remember of Sam and Charlie's wedding night?
I remember the modest negligee.
Modest negligee!
Is he going to do the same one? He's like, I want you to wear the one my dead wife wore on her deathbed.
No, I think she's going to be less modest.
Less modest even.
I sat on the bed in my pajamas and listened to the sound of Laura's shower. They wouldn't have a shower. It's fair enough to take the time by yourself, nothing wrong with that. But looking at the fireplace, I thought how romantic it would be to have a nice fire going when she came out. Still in pajamas, sticking to the wedding night tradition of the pajamas, I put on a pair of my uncle's boots.
They're clown pajamas too, and those are big old boot shoes.
With his uncle's boots, and went outside to find the wood pile, cut some kindling, and carried it inside. I found a pile of old newspapers and magazines, crumpled and threw some into the fireplace, then carefully laid the wood on top.
She's showering, getting all cleaned up, and he's like, I'm just going to get covered in ash and shit.
And set the paper on fire. Then I remembered the axe was still outside and went to get it. As long as I was there, I decided, I'd chop some more wood for later. 5 minutes later, when I went inside, the entire room was filled with smoke. I'd forgotten to open the draft. Classic.
Nice.
Grabbing the wood that was still smoking, I ran it outside and tossed it in a snowbank. In the process, I slid on some ice and fell, twisting my ankle. Classic
This is
Jack scene! Jack really resonates with these like scenes where everything's just like...
Yeah.
It's like Home Alone. Every wedding night is Home Alone. So he twisted his ankle. Limping back, I wiped my forehead, spreading black over my face. It's almost like he's deliberately avoiding consummating his marriage with a woman he barely knows after his dead wife's sudden passing.
Yes.
Dead wife's, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Then I opened all the windows to get the smoke out. That's when Lara opened the bathroom door, expecting to find her Prince Charming, regally attired in lounging robe, about to offer her a glass of ginger ale.
No.
Oh, that's so sad.
If she's disappointed, all I have to say is, you knew what I was when you picked me up.
Thank you, Tana.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
All too well.
Instead, she saw a guy wearing sooty pajamas, hiking boots, his face blackened like a coal miner.
Isn't Sooty Pajamas the name of your cat?
Sooty Blackfoot. It's my mum's cat.
Comes Sooty PJ from now on.
His face blackened like a coal miner and the room filled with thick smoke. I was bent over, looking up the chimney, still searching for the draft to the fireplace. Potential chimney boy roleplay, though, which could be exciting.
I'm into that. He's like, step in time! And she's like,
Good grief, she gasped. I limped towards her, no doubt resembling Captain Ahab. What's that?
Ahab from
Who's
Moby
that?
Dick.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It's probably a dick joke.
Hi there. Is this a family wedding ritual? She asked. A few technical difficulties. She ran back to the bathroom, closed the door and locked it. Don't worry, I yelled. I'll have things fixed in no time. Do you want to help me? Are you kidding? She answered through the door. Wearing a negligee? Just a regular negligee. Wearing this modest negligee? If I knew this is what we were going to do, I'd have worn thermal underwear and a backpack. Wait in there till I call you, okay? Okay, she said faintly, sounding as if she were about to cry. Do you want to read a magazine while you're waiting? I guess so. It's the special issue they do every year about pheasants.
They hype up sex so much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, they put so much pressure on it.
Uh-huh. Which is just, yeah, you're never gonna feel playful and creative and,
Yeah.
We all know. I slid the magazine under the door and went back to work. I found a summer fan and turned it on near the open door to try and clear out the smoke. Eventually...
Can you hold the book down a little?
Yeah.
Because it helps thinking.
Eventually, I found the draft, opened it, and repeated the process of starting a fire again. Within a few minutes, there was a small fire going, but the temperature was still below freezing. It would have to do. I couldn't wait all night. What does that mean? I couldn't wait all night?
He's just an impatient, horny lad.
It's just like, it would be written in such a non-sexual way that then a line like that kind of throws me off. Like, wait, you have any sexual desire in this situation?
And
I couldn't tell.
Not only that, like, he has created this problem. Like, why is he being so impatient?
Back to the bathroom door. Lara, the fire is going now. You can come out. Can I just finish this one article? She asked. I sighed. I guess so. If that's really what you want to do. I went back to the fireplace and threw another log on. She opened the door and realised how cold it was in the room. There was a blur of white as she raced across the room and into bed. Ooh! What's wrong? I'm not going to tell you what a shock these cold sheets are. She pulled the covers up to her chin. Then she looked at me and started to laugh. You look like a chimney sweep, she grinned. Did you know it's good luck to kiss a chimney sweep?
It absolutely is.
No way. You go wash your face and hands. Yes, mother, I said, heading for the bathroom. Oh, Sam, toss me out that magazine, will you? I never knew pheasants were so interesting. This is like Princess Diana and Charles's marriage. Prove me wrong.
But without any of the fanfare.
When I returned, the room was just slightly warmer. I walked to the bed and sat down. Oh, no. Laura, we should have our first family prayer now. I forgot that there was a prayer every wedding night. I forgot. Why have we read 2 Jack Whalen wedding nights? It doesn't feel right. Also, why are they so similar? He was like, how do I make this one different from last time? I'll just do like a little fire where I get soot all over me. Yeah. That'll do it. That'll mix it up.
Add some old-fashioned Jack Attack comedy.
A kneeling prayer, she asked, reluctant to leave the warm bed. Maybe not. How about a prayer with us just sitting here? After the prayer, she looked at me and smiled nervously. Sam, could we talk a little? About what? I don't know. Something. Anything. I know. Ask me anything about ring-necked pheasants. She had the blankets pulled up to her chin with both hands. I smiled. She nervously smiled back. I'll be right back, I said suddenly. Where are you going, Sam? Out to the car. I've got a tape of Mystery Theatre we can listen to. Was that or not? Did they used to make
They
out
did,
listening to that?
They made out to it once.
Okay, so...
Or at least looked at each other longingly while it was on. Maybe said something about each other's necks.
Cool. You would think that Jack would feel more compelled to represent Mormon wedding nights in almost an over-the-top good way, you know? But he really, like...
He's here for the hijinks. At this point,
yeah.
He don't care.
Well, so he can't write a sex scene. He can't have those thoughts in his brain. He'll get in trouble.
Uh-huh.
Sometime during the night, I woke up...
You know what happens next.
I woke up and put another log on the fire and then went back to bed. Seeing a couple of glasses of water on the nightstand, I figured Lara had set them out after I'd fallen asleep so we wouldn't have to get out of bed and get our feet cold. I took one glass and drank it. Since there wasn't much water in it, I drank hers too. What a wife, I thought. She thinks of everything. The next morning we lay in bed and talked while we waited for the room to warm up. Finally, she turned to the water glasses. Where are my contact lenses? No, you did not drink saline solution. 2 glasses of saline solution thinking it was water. What? I forgot my soaking case. I put one in each glass last night after you'd fallen asleep. What did you do with them? I shut my eyes and shook my head. Sam, where are they? I can't say a thing without them. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I started to laugh uncontrollably. What happened? I don't have another pair.
He drank the contact with them.
Yeah.
He drank the baby with the bathwater.
Laura, your contact lenses have passed away. We left that morning for Idaho and a reception planned for that night. Hello, Laura said warmly to the blur standing in front of her in the receiving line. Laura, why are you squinting so? An elderly aunt asked her.
Why are you squinting so?
Rude. Please introduce me to your husband. This is my husband. You know, on the weeks where I'm feeling low energy and I don't zhuzh up the dialogue, it really hits home how boring the dialogue is. Well, tell him who I am. Lara leaned over to stare at the face. Oh, this is my Aunt Lynn. Later that night, just after the reception was over, I heard 2 older men talking about us. They say he ate her contact lenses. Why would he do that? Who knows about kids these days? Always after some new thrill. It's TV that's done it. Wrecked the whole generation. This was the original Tide Pod challenge.
Oh, that's so dumb.
Garbage. That was a garbage chapter. Rubbish. Trash.
Dumb as all get out. Oh, Jack.
What did we learn? Jack just, like, you know, the advice that is commonly given to writers of, like, think of the worst thing that could happen, or just, like, think of something bad and kind of crazy that could happen and write that. But it's like, there's never there's just zero emotional narrative, you know. Actually, there was the self-knowledge chapter. So
With
I guess
absolutely no self-knowledge.
We would do a hijinks chapter. A good old-fashioned taking a shower while your wife's parents are over and covering and having shaving cream on you at the dinner table. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Or whatever that was. I don't know.
I put a cap over the knob so they wouldn't tell it's a shower. What are these flowers doing here? I just jammed a crowbar into the Ferris wheel machine and it sparked and stopped. And we climbed down.
And now I know what
knocking him unconscious, yeah.
There's not really much to say about that, except for that was a shit wedding night. They didn't connect emotionally once the whole chapter, and it was like their wedding chapter.
Let alone the whole book. They haven't been like solidly vulnerable with each other at all. Maybe it's just because they're just shallow people. I don't know. It's all just like, oh, you have such a nice neck. Yes, I wear a kerchief one time on my mission. It's like, nice. You went on a mission. That's your whole shtick now? Cool.
It's just the crazy, like, how Jack can't even get close to the subject of sex in any kind of way.
No. They're all staying the hell away from that. This is like Kimball era, Benson era.
And
like,
that chapter kind of normalized. Like, it was very obvious that, like, to me, if I, if you imagine a world where the writer was aware, he would be writing that chapter to demonstrate how both of them were afraid to have sex for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, we didn't get any, like, exploration of that as an issue, even though it was, like, in the subtext. And then, like, we didn't get any resolution, or it was just like, yeah, but then it was fine, and they just, it's like really adding to that Mormon teen teaching that, like, you'll just get married and then it will just all work and you'll know how to do it. And it's
put
like,
on music,
this man
mystery science
does
theater,
not know how
and
to have sex.
No, absolutely not.
But he made a baby. Also, where was Adam on the wedding day? No mention of him.
Not in this whole book, other than he needs a mother desperately, and I'm starting to agree with him. It sounds like she might be better for him than Sam could ever be, because at this point, he sucks.
Well, I think I need to go and microwave a Trader Joe's vegan tikka masala. So this has been great. I hope you're all having a good week.
Choose the
Don't
right or the left.
unsubscribe.
Whichever. Yeah, don't unsubscribe.